Did you know a 68-year-old man collapsed in his kitchen just moments after finishing his breakfast last Tuesday? His wife found him unconscious on the floor, struggling to breathe. By the time paramedics arrived, his blood pressure had skyrocketed to dangerous levels, and he was rushed to the emergency room. The doctors later confirmed what many health experts have been warning about for years. His breakfast contained one of the three deadly foods we're going to discuss today. This isn't just an isolated incident. Every single day, seniors across the country are unknowingly putting themselves at risk by consuming foods that could be silently destroying their health. What's truly frightening is that many of these foods are considered normal parts of the American diet, and you might be eating them right now without realizing the danger they pose. But here's the good news. By making a few simple changes to your diet, you can dramatically reduce your risk and potentially transform your health. Today, I'm going to reveal the three most dangerous foods for seniors over 65, explain exactly why they're so harmful to your aging body, and share simple, delicious alternatives you can enjoy instead. If you're concerned about your health or the well being of an older loved one, this might be the most important video you watch this year. These small dietary changes could literally save your life or the life of someone you care about. Let's dive into these three deadly foods that no senior should be consuming and the safer alternatives that can help protect your health for years to come. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number one below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps us understand which topics matter most to you, and we truly appreciate your support. Deadly food number one, processed meats. The first deadly food that seniors should avoid at all costs is processed meats. I'm talking about bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli meats, pepperoni, and other similar products that might be regular staples in your refrigerator. Let me tell you about George, a 71-year-old retired teacher who loved starting his mornings with bacon and eggs. For years, this was his daily routine, two strips of crispy bacon alongside his breakfast. He thought nothing of it since it was such a small amount. It's just a little treat, he'd tell his daughter whenever she expressed concern. What George didn't realize was that processed meats contain numerous compounds that are particularly harmful to seniors. These meats are packed with sodium, preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, and saturated fats that can wreak havoc on an aging cardiovascular system. Here's why this matters so much for seniors specifically. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing and eliminating toxins. The preservatives in processed meats have been classified as carcinogenic by the World Health Organization, meaning they can increase cancer risk. For seniors whose immune systems are already naturally declining with age, this additional risk is significant. But the more immediate danger comes from the sodium content. Processed meats are absolutely loaded with salt, which can cause dangerous spikes in blood pressure. For George, his morning bacon habit was contributing to hypertension that eventually led to a minor stroke at age 73. Think about it. Your blood vessels become less flexible as you age, and your kidneys don't filter sodium as efficiently as they once did. This makes the high sodium content in processed meats particularly dangerous for seniors, putting enormous strain on your heart and blood vessels with every bite. After his stroke scare, George's doctor explained that his daily bacon habit was significantly contributing to his health problems. The high sodium was elevating his blood pressure, while the nitrates were causing inflammation throughout his body, including his blood vessels. The saturated fat was clogging his arteries, creating the perfect storm for cardiovascular disease. The solution is actually quite simple. Replace processed meats with fresh, lean protein sources. Instead of bacon, try fresh turkey breast. Rather than deli ham sandwiches, opt for freshly cooked chicken. George now enjoys scrambled eggs with avocado instead of bacon, and his blood pressure has improved significantly in just 3 months. If you absolutely love the flavor of bacon or other processed meats, there are healthier alternatives available today that weren't around years ago. Look for nitrate-free versions, though be aware they still contain sodium. Better yet, try plant-based bacon alternatives made from tempeh or other natural ingredients. They've come a long way in terms of flavor and can satisfy that craving without the health risks. Remember, it's not about depriving yourself of enjoyable foods, but rather making smarter choices that allow you to continue enjoying life for many more years. Small changes like swapping out processed meats can have a massive impact on your long-term health, especially after age 65, when your body is more vulnerable to their harmful effects. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. Your comments really do motivate us to continue creating content that helps protect your health. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. We're committed to bringing you life-saving health information that mainstream media often overlooks. Deadly food. Number 2. Ultra-processed white flour products. The second deadly food that's silently destroying seniors' health is ultra-processed white flour products. These include white bread, pastries, cookies, crackers, pasta made with refined flour, and similar items that make up a significant portion of many seniors' diets. Let me share Martha's story with you. Martha was 76 years old and living independently in her own home. Every morning, she enjoyed toast with her coffee. For lunch, she often had a sandwich, and pasta was a dinner staple a few times each week. She baked cookies regularly for when her grandchildren visited. All of these foods had one thing in common. They were made with refined white flour. Martha didn't think much about these choices. After all, she'd been eating bread and pasta her entire life. But at her last medical checkup, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and her doctor explained that her diet was largely to blame. Here's why white flour products are especially harmful for seniors. When flour is refined, the bran and germ are removed, stripping away the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What remains is essentially pure starch that your body rapidly converts to sugar. For seniors, whose bodies already have a harder time regulating blood sugar, this creates a dangerous spike in glucose levels. Think about it. Your pancreas produces less insulin as you age, and your cells become more resistant to the insulin you do produce. This means that the rapid blood sugar spikes caused by white flour products are particularly dangerous after age 65, putting enormous stress on your metabolic system. But the problems don't stop with blood sugar. These refined carbohydrates also contribute to systemic inflammation throughout the body, which is a major factor in nearly all age-related diseases, from arthritis to Alzheimer's. The inflammation caused by regularly consuming these products can worsen joint pain, accelerate cognitive decline, and increase cardiovascular risk. For Martha, years of consuming these refined carbohydrates had gradually worn down her body's ability to regulate blood sugar. By the time she was diagnosed with diabetes, she was already experiencing nerve pain in her feet and problems with her vision, complications that might have been avoided with different food choices. The solution isn't necessarily eliminating all bread and pasta from your diet. Instead, it's about making smarter choices with whole grain alternatives. When Martha switched to 100% whole grain bread and pasta, she noticed several improvements. Her blood sugar became more stable, she had more energy throughout the day, and she even lost a few pounds without trying. What makes whole grains so much better? They contain the entire grain, the bran, germ, and endosperm. This means they provide fiber that slows down digestion and prevents those dangerous blood sugar spikes. They also deliver important nutrients that support brain health, immune function, and digestive health, all critical concerns for seniors. Here's a simple way to make this change. Look for bread where whole wheat flour or whole grain flour is the first ingredient, not enriched wheat flour, which is just another name for white flour. For pasta, choose versions made with whole grains or even bean-based pastas, which provide protein along with complex carbohydrates. Martha now enjoys sprouted grain bread for her morning toast and has discovered that she actually prefers the nutty flavor of whole grain pasta. She's learned to bake cookies with a mixture of whole grain flours and almond flour, reducing the glycemic impact while still creating treats her grandchildren love. 1 year after making these changes, Martha's blood sugar levels improved so significantly that her doctor reduced her medication. Her energy levels increased, and she even reported feeling mentally sharper. These improvements came not from eliminating carbohydrates entirely, but from choosing the right kinds of carbohydrates that support health rather than undermine it. Remember, your body processes foods differently as you age, and the refined carbohydrates you might have tolerated in your younger years can become increasingly harmful after 65. Making the switch to whole grains isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years by reducing inflammation, stabilizing energy, and supporting brain health. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors with this potentially life-saving information. Deadly food number 3, artificial sweeteners. The third deadly food that's particularly harmful for seniors is artificial sweeteners. I'm talking about aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and similar substances found in diet sodas, sugar-free desserts, and many products marketed specifically to diabetics and those watching their weight. Let me tell you about Robert, who is 70 years old and concerned about his weight. After his doctor warned him about the dangers of excess sugar, Robert switched to diet soda, drinking 3 to 4 cans daily. He also used artificial sweeteners in his coffee and tea and regularly consumed sugar-free snacks, believing he was making healthier choices. What Robert didn't realize was that these artificial sweeteners might actually be more harmful than the sugar he was trying to avoid, especially at his age. 6 months after increasing his consumption of these products, Robert began experiencing concerning neurological symptoms, frequent headaches, dizziness, and memory issues that frightened both him and his family. Here's why artificial sweeteners are especially problematic for seniors. As we age, our blood-brain barrier becomes more permeable, potentially allowing more of these chemicals to enter the brain. Many artificial sweeteners contain compounds that can act as excitotoxins, potentially harming brain cells and accelerating cognitive decline, something seniors are already naturally at risk for. But the problems don't stop there. Research has shown that artificial sweeteners can actually disrupt the gut microbiome, which is the collection of beneficial bacteria in your digestive system. For seniors, whose gut health is already more vulnerable due to reduced stomach acid production and slower digestive processes, this disruption can lead to inflammation, reduced immunity, and digestive issues. Think about it. Your gut health is directly connected to your immune function, and approximately 70% of your immune system is located in your digestive tract. By disrupting this delicate ecosystem with artificial chemicals, you could be undermining your body's natural defenses at a time when you need them most. Perhaps most alarming is the growing body of research suggesting that despite being calorie-free, artificial sweeteners may actually increase risk for metabolic disorders, including type 2 diabetes. They appear to trick the body into expecting sugar, triggering insulin production without the actual sugar arriving, potentially contributing to insulin resistance over time. For Robert, the connection between his symptoms and his diet wasn't immediately obvious. It was only when his daughter, a nutritionist, suggested he eliminate artificial sweeteners for 2 weeks that he noticed significant improvement. His headaches diminished, his thinking became clearer, and he even noticed that his chronic joint pain had decreased. The solution doesn't mean you need to start consuming large amounts of sugar instead. There are much better alternatives available. Natural sweeteners like small amounts of raw honey, maple syrup, or fruits can satisfy your sweet tooth without the potential neurological and metabolic risks of artificial options. Robert now sweetens his coffee with a small teaspoon of honey and drinks water with lemon or herbal tea instead of diet soda. He's learned to enjoy the natural sweetness of berries for dessert rather than artificially sweetened treats. The transition wasn't always easy, but after experiencing how much better he feels without these chemicals, he has no desire to go back. What many seniors don't realize is that our taste buds actually regenerate throughout life. If you've become accustomed to intensely sweet flavors from artificial sweeteners, it takes about 10 to 14 days for your taste perception to reset. After this adjustment period, you'll likely find that naturally sweet foods taste much more satisfying than before. If you're using artificial sweeteners because of diabetes concerns, speak with your healthcare provider about better alternatives. Many doctors now recommend moderate amounts of natural sweeteners as part of a balanced diet, combined with protein or fiber to slow absorption, rather than chemical substitutes that may cause other health problems. Remember, the food industry has spent billions marketing these products as healthy alternatives, particularly to health-conscious seniors. But the emerging research suggests these chemicals may be contributing to the very problems they claim to help solve. Making the switch to natural flavors and moderate amounts of natural sweeteners could significantly improve your neurological health, gut function, and overall well-being. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. Your comments and shares help us reach more seniors who need this important health information. What happened to the 68-year-old man? Now let's return to the story I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The 68-year-old man who collapsed after breakfast was consuming a combination of these deadly foods every morning without realizing the danger. His typical breakfast included 2 slices of white toast with margarine, 2 strips of bacon, and coffee with artificial sweetener, essentially combining all 3 of the deadly foods we've discussed. On the morning he collapsed, his blood pressure spiked dangerously high due to the sodium in the processed meat and the inflammatory response triggered by the refined carbohydrates. The artificial sweetener in his coffee, which he'd been consuming for years, had been gradually affecting his neurological function, potentially contributing to the severity of the event. After his collapse and subsequent hospitalization, his doctor explained that his diet was a major contributor to his health crisis. Like many seniors, he hadn't realized that the foods he'd eaten for decades were becoming increasingly dangerous as his body aged and became more vulnerable to their effects. The good news is that 3 months after changing his diet to eliminate these 3 deadly foods, his blood pressure stabilized, his energy improved, and he even reported thinking more clearly than he had in years. His wife noticed that his mood was better and that he was sleeping more soundly. This isn't unusual. Many seniors experience dramatic health improvements when they eliminate these problematic foods. Your body has remarkable capacity to heal at any age when you remove the substances that are causing harm and replace them with nourishing alternatives. Let's recap the 3 deadly foods seniors should avoid. Things: processed meats, bacon, sausage, deli meats, replace with fresh lean proteins like chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, or plant-based proteins like beans and lentils. 2. Ultra-processed white flour products. Replace with 100% whole grain alternatives, or explore options made with almond flour, coconut flour, or bean-based flours. 3. Artificial sweeteners. Replace with moderate amounts of natural sweeteners like raw honey, maple syrup, or fresh fruit, particularly berries, which are lower in sugar and high in antioxidants. Making these changes doesn't mean sacrificing flavor or enjoyment in your meals. In fact, Many seniors report that once they adjust to more natural, less processed foods, they actually enjoy their meals more. Real food has complex, satisfying flavors that processed foods try to mimic with chemicals, but can never truly replicate. Start with just one change this week. Perhaps begin by swapping out processed meats for fresh alternatives. Then, tackle the refined carbohydrates next week. And finally, address the artificial sweeteners. Small, gradual changes are often more sustainable than trying to overhaul your entire diet at once. Remember, the food choices that might not have noticeably affected you in your 40s or 50s can have much more significant impacts after 65. Your body's natural protective mechanisms decline with age, making the quality of your nutrition even more important than it was in earlier years. By eliminating these three deadly foods from your diet, you're not just reducing your risk of a health crisis, you're potentially improving your energy, cognitive function, mood, and overall quality of life. These benefits often begin appearing within just weeks of making dietary changes, providing powerful motivation to continue. If you've been consuming these foods regularly, don't be discouraged. The human body has remarkable resilience at any age, and positive changes you make today can significantly impact your health tomorrow and in the years to come. It's never too late to make choices that support your well being. Which of these three foods surprised you the most? Have you been regularly consuming any of them without realizing the potential dangers? The awareness you've gained today is the first step toward making better choices for your health. If you know other seniors who might benefit from this information, please share this video with them. The simple dietary changes we've discussed today could literally save lives. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.